Hello, good evening viewers. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Teresita Gonzales, proprietor of Philippine Global Excel Review and Tutorial and Online Services. Let me start my content by introducing my slogan to this video. The best investment in life is education. My topic for today is about the continuation or part 3 of making an action research proposal, and this involves only 3 more parts to complete the action research proposal making. Now let's proceed. This is after the plan for data analysis. Next is the timetable of the Gantt chart. Then the Gantt chart will involve the different activities of the action research. Next is the cost estimate. What is cost estimate in an action research proposal? This involves the budget for this reading intervention program, which is very minimal. The funds allocated below, as stipulated in a chart, will cover the cost of the reading materials, reproduction, and for research realization. In some other action researches, like BERF, the Basic Education Research Fund, is funded by the government as to the budget incurred in the action research. But for a simple action research like this one about the peer tutoring to solve the problem of non-readers in grade 3, the budget is only very minimal. After writing the cost estimate or enumerating the different budget estimate about, say for example, band papers, the printing, the reproduction, and other expenses involved during the conduct of the survey, and etc., then what will follow will be the work plan. So the work plan will involve everything. So it is only a summary of what is the plan all about from the very start of the action research until the end. Finally, you have to write the references. The references is otherwise called the bibliography, which will involve the enumeration of the reading materials that you have. So some of them are list of the books and authors, electronic materials, thesis and dissertation that you have made as a reference, then DepEd orders, as well as Republic Acts. Now let's proceed to the next topic, which is the format of a complete action research, because the one that I tackled with part 1 and part 2 of this involves the proposal only. We only make the action research proposal, so we follow the format in the making of the proposal only. Now in here we have the format of a complete action research. So when do we say that our action research is already complete? So this is after approval from the principal to the division office or superintendent up to the regional level, the head and there. Once you get the approval of your action research proposal, then you will have to conduct your survey, and then afterwards get the results or findings. You interpret the results and then enumerate the recommendation and suggestions that will be involved after having the results, and then finally do or perform the action plan for implementation afterwards. So for complete action research format, letter A is research title, then the abstract. The abstract will involve at least 200 to 300 words only, as much as possible. It should be written in one page involving everything from the start up to the end of the action research proposal. Letter C is acknowledgement. So you are given a chance to cite people or mention names who have helped you in the accomplishment of your action research. Letter D is content and the rationale, and then the next is action research questions. So the parts of the action research proposal that I have mentioned in the part 2 and part 1 and part 2 will be included already. Then letter F is innovation, intervention, and strategy. Letter G is action research methods. And then the research design. So research design, you define in here or describe this as maybe if your action research is descriptive, whether it's qualitative, quantitative, or whatever. Then next is participants of the study. So participants is otherwise called involves the respondents of your action research. Next part is after mentioning the participants of the study, you mention also the data collection, then data analysis, then discussion of the results and reflection. Then you write reflection of your study. What is your reflection? Then letter N is recommendations. Letter O is action plan. So this is already the action plan. And the last part of a complete action research is the references. Now for writing the references, take note that you should apply the APA or the American Psychological Association format. So the next is format for another type of an action research, which is called BERF. BERF means a basic education research fund. Now this is otherwise stipulated in a regional memorandum number 20 series of 2017, which is otherwise named as Revised Basic Education Research Fund. The theme of this type of action research is transforming pedagogy through classroom-based action research. So what are the parts of BERF? First is, again, you write the title of your research. Then, after writing the title, you write your name as the proponent or the author. Then under introduction, you should contain, the introduction is that part of your BERF action research that must contain the rationale of the study trends. Letter B, issues, the gaps, and statement of the problem. Then scope and limitations. So the same thing is to be considered with what I have discussed about the description of these parts in the action research proposal making. What differs an ordinary action research proposal with BERF format is that BERF is somewhat a shortcut of a thesis. As if you are liking a thesis already, but shortened thesis. Next part is after the scope and limitation. So the same thing, you should have literature review. And theoretical and conceptual framework will follow. So you'll notice that for ordinary action research, you will only have to describe the conceptual framework of the study. But for birth, you will have the combination of the theoretical and the conceptual framework. So you will have at least 3 theories or educational theories to be enumerated under this theoretical and conceptual framework before you are going to draw the structure, or what we call as the flow of the research, or your research paradigm. Second here is method section. So otherwise this is actually methodology in thesis and dissertation also. What should be written inside the method section? Letter A. Research design. So describe what is the research design in here. So again, it can be descriptive research, it can be experimental, but actually the sample that I gave you in the action research proposal is an experimental research involving the control group and the experimental group to be able to determine whether there was improvement in application of peer tutoring of the grade 5 level with that of the grade 3 pupils. So the target, the output in there is to reach up to 100% level of readers. So the non-readers at first, at the start of the study, will not exist anymore because everybody can read. Next, after the research design, you should describe the participants or the respondents of the study. Letter C, population and sampling. So why is there already a mentioning of population? Because in birth, basic education research fund action type of research, this will already involve a bigger population. So from a bigger population, you should get the number of respondents to be taken to save time, money, and effort in trying to conduct. So you should have to apply the Sloven's formula, or it can be percentage out of group or specific respondents in a particular environment. And then after that, after solving the Sloven's formula out of, say for example, 500 students, you will only have a few numbers of students to be your respondents. So maybe only 50 to 75 students will be used as participants of your study, because Sloven's formula is a formula in statistics that would compute for a particular number of respondents, that as if everybody has participated the action research. Next, after trying to compute for the participants population sampling, next is you describe the locale of the study. This is otherwise known as the research environment. So you describe the place where you will undergo the research, action research that you will perform. Then after the locale of the study, next will follow the instrument used. For thesis and dissertation, usually what is used is a self-made questionnaire made by the author, and then sometimes others use a structured instrument already. When do we say that a questionnaire is already structured? When that particular questionnaire was already used and validated, well validated, and then it has been It has been used already and conducted. So after that, the next to use that with permission of the original author, there will be no more validation to happen, but instead you can already use it with the permission of the original writer. After having the instrument, next will follow, that will follow is data gathering procedure. So data gathering procedure will involve how are you going to gather the data. It can be through interview, it can be through instrument, it can be other methods. And then what will follow is the ethical considerations, and finally the data analysis. So data analysis can be made after applying maybe Excel or SPSS, statistical package, or statistical treatments that are already programmed in or can be seen in laptops, wherein you will just encode the results of your conduct of the study, and then all you have to do is only to interpret. If you cannot do it, you can refer to experts, say like statisticians, for you to help, for them to help you. Then after that is conclusions. So you already state or draw conclusions based on the results of your study. After having the conclusion, letter A, just briefly answer the statement of the problem or objectives of the study, and then recommendations are aligned to the benefactors of the study which are stated in the rationale or significance of the study section. So do not mention other items which are not included or not relevant to your action research. Then the recommendation must be aligned. So when we say aligned, it should be having the relationship with the statement of the problem and the significance of the study section. Then next will be the involvement of appendices. So the appendices for BER format shall include letter A, endorsement from the school division office, endorsement from the superintendent of the division, and then the sample, computation of the sample, and then the use of what instrument will you apply. It can be a self-made questionnaire or the one that I just mentioned a while ago, or include also the statistical matrix if there is any. So include the formulas, what are the statistical package that you use, whether you apply the Excel for fast computation, which are already programmed in laptops. Now the last is references. So just like the ordinary action research, you will apply also the APA format, the American Psychological Association, as maybe ordered by your advisor or the dean of or the head of the school when you are making a thesis or a dissertation. So you will be advised by the dean and your advisor as to the format of your references. So the last in here is the references. So you should be very careful also in the application of the references, because the references or literature should be cited. Use the American Psychological Association manual, which is APA, or the latest edition format. Now, I'd like to give an important note about plagiarism issue. For plagiarism issue, this can be solved through Turnitin, which will detect copied statements without citations. So, majority of authors and writers of action researches, whatever the case may be, we really copy, we copy and paste from particular authors and a particular year. So how are you going to solve plagiarism is by trying to rephrase. You rephrase what has been stated by the original author, but be sure that when you rephrase the statement, it must have a parallel meaning, or you are driving the same statement as what the original author said. Now, if it should be rephrased, that is very important. If there are complaints that the regional office will receive from a third party or any grounds validated by the manuscript, the official of the Department of Education Research Journal Editorial Office will trigger the retraction, but only after the writer has been notified and allowed to present his side in compliance to due process. So you will be noted by the regional office as to if somebody will complain that you copied a particular research that you made, but then there will still be due process about it. You will be made to explain your side, and then after being notified, you'll be allowed to present your side in compliance to a due process of law in the Department of Education. Conflict of interest. So for this is involved already when you want, or you already like to publish your action research. The journal that you are going to refer so that your action research will be published is the journal will only publish your article after the author or authors have confirmed through a memorandum of agreement that they have disclosed all potential conflict of interest. So there are no more conflicts involved whatsoever, and then everything is already solved, then publication of your action research will follow. Okay, so my content about action research proposal and a complete action research proposal including birth is already through. So this is it for this video. Thank you for watching. More videos are coming about statistical treatments or commonly used formulas involving statistics in your research. Please don't forget to click the button and subscribe. I will appreciate your feedbacks and comments, and I will still appreciate even your thumbs down. Lastly, stay safe and God bless us all.